Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
The A Show.
Where smart is the new sexy.
And now, April Hunter.
Good evening, my legends, my beautiful people. How are you doing? Welcome to the A Show. Apparently, everybody and their mother is online tonight because you can only ever get the truth from alternative media and podcasts. So here we are. We are thrilled to death to welcome you, and also by popular demand, Jimmy Gialelis. Jimmy G, thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
I know, I'm stoked. So Jimmy is going to teach us about the pineal gland, and we're going to learn how to reclaim your mind from government and media control. So what the pineal gland is, if I'm saying that right, pineal gland, and how we can use it to the best of our ability, as well as talking about some of the craziness going on right now. So we're going to cover all of this, and we're also going to welcome back Big Ray Hernandez, who actually looks like a Puerto Rican now with that tan.
All right.
You look
You know
beautiful,
what?
man.
Would you? So, let me see something here. Yeah, I am back. I am tan. I am relaxed. I feel fantastic. Everybody here in the chat, we got Winona, we get Gam Wolfers, we got
Allie, cool, awesome dude.
Just trauma train rich. I love that.
Yep, Fury Power. We got Miss Notary. What's up? What's up? Oh, you're being too kind. Thank you. So we got welcome everybody joining us and coming in. So thank you for being here. Yeah, we missed you, Ray. We missed you, Ray. Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
I've always appreciated you, but I have a really, really solid appreciation for all that you do.
I'll tell you what, I didn't miss New York at all. Not even one bit. I didn't miss home. Now what? I missed this home.
Mm-hmm.
Everything outside could just basically, I don't want to say burn, but.
Well, let me tell you something, Ray. In the past 2 weeks while you were away, absolutely nothing happened and you missed nothing.
Let me tell you something. There was real quick, man. I'm in Dominican Republic with my wife, right? And we're relaxing and we wake up in the morning to have our coffee. And it was lunch. Come into the hotel room, and the very first thing is President Trump has been shot. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Holy shit. That was like day 2 that we were there.
Yeah.
Unfucking believable, but I'm happy that Jimmy's here with us, man. Jimmy's awesome.
I am too. So there's a lot of darkness. We're going to get to all of that in our last bit. Jimmy's only here for an hour, so we're going to take full advantage of his insane knowledge about all things. He's going to explain everything that he knows on this topic. But first, we're going to explore how to rise above the darkness by using the gifts of our brain that we have, and many of us have lost, but we do have the ability. And he's here to talk about the wonders of the pineal gland. So, Jimmy, will you please refresh people? I know you've been here many times before, and we are freaking excited to have you back. But will you refresh people who you are and what you're doing and why you grace us with your presence?
Oh, it's so nice. I want to say thank you for having me back. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, April. Certainly, I've been a massage therapist 24 years and going strong. And the gift of healing is why I'm here. I like to just share knowledge and share the love of healing. And I know that when we get into what body work is all about in massage therapy, we know that the energies of the body are intimately linked with the physical body. So tonight, I'm going to talk about the physical aspects of the pineal gland, but also the metaphysical beyond the physical. And I think it's just interesting when you really tie the two together. I think it really gives people a lot of empowerment and gifts, and we can do the inner work to help us manage through these really hellacious times. And as we get closer to November, I can't wait for November to fucking freaking get here. I'm just getting really like my body feels the anxiety of just from all over. I teach here in Arizona, and certainly, some students will come in, bring in a lot of opinions left and right in the center and such. And so there certainly is a lot of just collective angst we feel as a country. And I hope that this kind of discussion can help us think about how we can really calm and ease our body. And I'm sure maybe people see on my Facebook page, I do post some like meditations at times, just for the hope if you go on my page and you kind of download the meditations, it can really help a whole lot. So hello, Colin. Hello.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Really quickly, I'm sorry. Colin, we were having a discussion before we jumped on the show. April, you lied to me, or you just mispronounced. She said we were talking about the pineal gland. So Colin got all excited. Colin was like, I can't fucking wait to be on the show. And I'm like, you can't be on the show, Colin. So
yet he is on the show. Welcome, Colin.
So it's not the pineal gland then.
Unfortunately not. I'm sorry to disappoint. Yeah.
Well, not disappointing me. It's Colin that was going nuts over it.
Sorry, Colin.
No judgment. Hey, I don't know judgment. No judgment.
Oh, Colin.
It's very good, very good. So it's really, I think it's going to be really.
See, look at the comments. See, y'all all aren't talking penises.
Well, hang out for a little bit. We might be later. Okay, there's nothing ever off the table on the A show, and you all know this.
It is a live show. Anything can happen on a live show.
Yep, we're still alternative media, and we're still free for the moment. So yeah, right. it's not we're doing it. So in the meantime, Laquifa, War Demon, and let's see, Red Sunny, Kenny P. Thank you for being here. I see you guys filtering in late, so thank you for being here. So is it? Is it the pineal gland or the pineal gland, or does it not matter?
I'm a Greek from Chicago. A Greek from Chicago will say pineal.
Okay.
There you go, exactly. But ultimately, pineal gland. I'll kind of talk about it physically first, but again, just kind of like that backdrop here. I've been doing massage therapy and also energy work practices, Reiki as well for many, many years. And it's been fascinating to combine the energy work aspect with the more physical brand of body work. And even just today, I was working on a cancer patient, and it was interesting to go to her head, and she has had, cancer affecting the head neck area. And it's interesting that to feel like the energy is there at her head, I can just easily, feel the energy kind of calm in her brain. And as we start to feel the energy is calm in the brain, it really is fascinating to see how the body just calms and becomes at ease. So that's why I do what I do, just because I just love seeing that healing take place.
All right, can you heal me from suffering taking the MTA here in New York City?
I'll fly you out here. If you're in Arizona, I will take care of you, brother.
Good, April.
So the pineal gland, for people who don't know, and are you getting the feedback from me? Because I'm just using headset.
That's why I'm muting it. That's why I keep muting you in between.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know how to fix that. I've used this before.
Unless it's Jimmy.
I'm electric here. I got stones all over me. Maybe there's some biofeedback here from all the stones.
What are you using for a headset?
No headset. I'm just talking to my computer.
So that might be.
Oh, it's probably a computer. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, don't worry. We're good. I'll control it. I'll try to control it. Go.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. So the pineal gland, for those who don't know, that is the third eye, and right, or it's right here. Like, tell us about it. What is it?
Yes. So physically in the body, it's inside, deep in the brain. If I were to kind of point to like where my unibrow would be, I'm very Greek, April, so I have a unibrow, of course. So right where my unibrow would be, that would be my pituitary gland. And so my pineal gland is going to be about 2 inches higher and then 3 inches deeper in the brain. And it's so about maybe a little bit higher than your third eye, like point itself, although the chakra itself is called the third eye. And it's actually in a major part of the brain called the diencephalon part. And this is the part of the brain that's like the pit of the brain. So like if your brain was a peach, cut the peach in half, the pit is that diencephalon. So we are in the core of the brain, as deep as you can possibly go. In fact, some people would call this the limbic brain portion, the reptilian brain portion. So we're getting very, very kind of ancient, really, really primitive part of our brain. And there's kind of 4 main functions I want to bring up here. The first 2 are very commonly known. One is it controls your circadian rhythm, your 24-hour cycle, when you get tired, when you get hungry, your general, when you get more energy, less energy and such.
I was going to say how much energy you have each day.
Indeed, indeed, right? The ability to kind of sense, your body's awareness in that way. It also controls general sleep patterns. So when we do have it dark outside, there are specific receptors connecting our eyes to pineal gland. So we do need to get that, screen to shut off at some point. We do need to shut off the lights at some point because that constant light exposure starts to interfere with that connection, and it keeps your pineal gland from working properly.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that can be a troubling thing for some people to hear, because some people certainly are night owls and they say, well, I got to stay up till 11. I got to keep my, screen time going and such.
11.
Yes, indeed.
There's amateurs right there.
11. Shit, I go to bed at 3:30 in the morning.
And in the end, we're certainly, our body already has that mechanism to recognize if it's dark outside, I need to wind down here. So our circadian rhythm kind of governs, make sure that we stay in loop with nature. But then there's like two other functions it does that are not as commonly known. One, it actually helps to kickstart the onset of puberty. So it becomes.
Oh, this is good for Colin. All right, Colin, listen up, buddy.
There you go. Exactly. So it does become very active when you are going through puberty stages. It becomes more active, much more active. And I think that's probably why you see a lot of teenagers struggle with sleep, because it is becoming more active, certainly, during that time. And then one more function it does, it actually creates these things called neurosteroids, not regular Barry Bonds steroids, but the neurosteroids that we have, indeed, right? I don't want to say Mike Piazza to upset Ray, but So,
I'm not a Mets fan at all.
Okay, in that case, we can say that. There you go.
You can say Aroyd.
That's exactly right. That's right. So yeah, these neurosteroids, they can actually have a role in inhibiting other brain hormones and other chemicals throughout the body. So I think it's really healthy to recognize that the pineal gland does more than just sleep. It actually has a role in helping us really manage our puberty growth cycles, and really kind of helps to make sure that other hormones don't take over too much. So it's kind of like it keeps things in check. Like I heard back in the day in high school, keep things in check, just like that.
Okay. So, all right. So from what I understand, my limited knowledge that is nowhere near your expertise, from what I understand, earlier, meaning earlier versions of us, we used to have a much stronger version of this because we were not, what's the word I'm looking for? We were not staying as busy. Our food was cleaner. Our environment was cleaner, and we were able to connect to each other and what was going on around us a lot more through the pineal gland and our third eye and being aware. And we have gradually lost this ability unless you really try and hone it and work on it. Is this
I think
accurate?
There's a lot of truth to that. In fact, if you think about society 200 years ago to today, we don't have all these phones, electronics all around us and such. So there's not as much to keep it overly stimulated. And any organ or gland in the body can start to suffer if it gets overly stimulated. So I think there's a lot of truth to that. And I know I haven't mentioned DMT yet, the dimethyltryptamine chemical.
Which is also a psychedelic.
Yeah, and I think this is a good example where we can kind of make mention how big pharma has a role in research, because the regular scientific research says, oh no, pineal gland doesn't produce that, or if it does, it's such minimal amount, it's not going to do any impact. And I think that's a lot of big pharmacy BS going on. They whitewash a whole lot of things, I think, going on with big pharma, with research. So I think as you have to look back quite a few years to see, like even in the Hippocrates time, even and you read Hippocrates writing 3,000 years ago in Greece, he was describing how the pineal gland was active and how the soul could actually be living inside your body. Whereas pre-Hippocratic time, it was always thought the soul is external, somewhere out there. We can reach for it somehow energetically. But yeah, Hippocrates was, I think, the first major kind of figure to say there's something inside of us, and it's in our brain, and it's there, and we can actually learn how to tap into it, learn how to access it.
And hello, Wolf, what's up? Yeah, Hippocratic, however you say his name. Hippocrates. Oh, you're saying it better than I am. He also said, "Let food be thy medicine, and let medicine be thy food," which
That's
is
right.
something that the pharma industry does not agree with either these days.
Right. And he was
So,
even Saint Thomas Aquinas many years ago, centuries ago, that even talked about three distinctive, what he called three cells in your brain. The pineal gland is a very small gland, about the size of maybe a vegetable pea, one
mhm.
little pea. So it's very small. So I can see how you would say three cells, very tiny. But even he wrote about this aspect of, if I'm deep in prayer, I can pray towards the center of my head and have some miracles occur.
So what? Okay, so what can people do to strengthen? Okay, so basically, pineal gland is like having biceps. Like some people, like everybody has biceps, but some people have biceps.
I
So
don't want to
what
rip
can
my
people
shirt. So
do? Huh?
I don't want to rip my shirt, so I won't show. Yeah.
There you go. Ah! So
There you go.
what
Yeah,
can
me
people
either.
do to strengthen their pineal gland, and how is this all affected by everything going on right now? I mean, we are living in a time that is very
Tumultuous.
energetically, yeah, dark
Yeah.
and confusing and up and down and up and down, and energy is contagious.
Mm.
So how can we protect ourselves and overcome things and use the pineal gland to benefit us? I know that was a multi-level thing there, but
Oh yeah, there's plenty to go through there, and I think that's a wonderful place to take the show, because I think there's like a bigger kind of overall theme of pineal gland now going metaphysical beyond the physical. Is this the general MO of that third eye chakra? It's kind of multifaceted. In one way, many cultures, like the Ayurvedic culture, has described that there's Kundalini energy that runs through our chakra system, and we have
Mhm.
three major lines that all intersect right there at that third eye. So
Cool.
many people will take like a Kundalini yoga class, Kundalini breathwork class, and learn how to start from the pelvic floor. And we've talked about pelvic floor many
Mhm.
times before. So once we start to really like strengthen, harmonize the pelvic floor, then we can literally do exercises to draw up. And what I like to do in that same way, in that vein, is like imagine like a color to the breath. So if I may maybe run both of you through this little exercise, if I may.
Go for it.
Sure. And if everybody's listening or watching, if you guys
Do,
want to join in, let's do this.
do I have to wear pants?
Yes, indeed, right? Because we don't want to excite Colin too much. Okay, good.
Fuck. All right. We don't want to do that.
Oh, I didn't know this was a pants podcast. I always thought it was a no
You
pants
shouldn't wear
podcast.
pants. All right, fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
Putting back on.
For sure, indeed, right there you go. But certainly, if your mic is muted, I understand. I won't bother you, okay? But but certainly, I think it's healthy that we just kind of close our eyes and just kind of get a slowing our breath. I think too often in life we go, and then we are used to breathing shallow. So as we start to just settle in with our body, let's focus on slowing the breath first. And as I slow down the breath, we can inhale for a count of 4, and then exhale for a count of 4. And with every inhale you take, you'll imagine first lights. And the red light is deep in the core of your body, at the base of your body. Very low in the abdomen as you breathe that red light. Imagine that red light is starting to get larger, like a little red ball growing and growing at the base of your body. And as you are breathing slowly with the next inhale, we can draw the red color, and it may turn orange. Any shade of orange, lighter, darker, whatever shade is fine. It's whatever your mind can think of. So as we breathe in, we may imagine that orange light start to grow. As that orange light begins to glow, it grows and glows. And then with our next breath, we may draw that orange light up above our belly button. Imagine it might turn a brighter, lighter shade of color, perhaps a yellow shades, orange to yellow hues of color. And as we breathe, we may imagine that yellow color looks like a giant sun, and that sun grows with every breath that you take. Inhaling for a count of 4. Exhaling for a count of 4. And as we take another deep breath in, that yellow light comes up to our heart center of the chest. And it may begin to turn a greenish color. An emerald green, a hunter green, any green that resonates with you. And as we breathe in, that green light starts to cover the whole chest area. We may expand the chest as we take that breath. Inhaling for a count of 4. Exhaling for a count of 4. And with our next breath, the energy moves up towards our throat area, a nice bluish tinge to the color. The blue might become more vibrant. And as that vibrancy begins to glow, it grows and glows ever more. So we inhale for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. Good. And as we take one more inhale, we draw that light color towards our third eye and imagine whatever color may form. Any color may form at this point as we breathe and open this region, allowing it to fill with energy color. I'm curious as we take one more deep breath. April or Ray, I'm curious, what color may you have seen at the end?
I had pink.
Pink, yeah.
Well, I'm spoiled. I've already done this before, so I typically go to purple.
There you go. Beautiful, beautiful.
Mine is like this color pink, like this purplish pink.
Yeah, indeed. I just know that was a representation of how energy moves up. And when we do exercises like this, certainly we may have read chakra books before, and everyone can have a little different experience, and there's nothing good or bad about one person's experience versus another. It's simply your body assimilating what you're feeling, and the power of the breath was able to draw energy up the body.
I have a question. So what's the sleepiness / lightheadedness I'm feeling right now?
Oh, indeed. So that means your body needs to breathe consciously more often. You need more moments in your day to consciously breathe. It would behoove you. It's just telling me that maybe the slowing of the breath may have been a little much for your body, and maybe your lungs aren't used to that. So I think that it behoove you to do that. So maybe next time I see you on Facebook, I'm going to say, stop posting, man. Start breathing.
That's the thing. I'm always in a very intense environment, whether it be at work, not at home as much, but traveling, and I'm traveling in at work 5 days out of the 7.
Yeah. So even if it's just 20 seconds here, 30 seconds there, restroom break, get away from people, just doing something. You can do this while sitting on the john. You can certainly do it anywhere where you can just kind of break away.
That's cool. Can I take my pants back off?
Only if Colin wants. There you go.
Is Colin all right with that?
It's a very relaxing feeling. Yeah. Even I'm listening to myself. Even my tone of like I'm a little hey dude, like in California.
I know I'm like out. Good night, you guys. No, I'm kidding. So this is. I was gonna say I've done another version of that where you breathe in for 4, you hold it for 4, and then you breathe out for 4. But this is, and I find that one helpful too. But this is what you recommend. That's more breath work than it is meditative, like what we just did with you was more meditative.
Yeah, the visualization aspect here. If I would have changed up the breath to make it even slower, that can be very helpful for many people. But what a great example, Ray, show that if we're not used to breathing much like this, even just a small amount, like a few minutes here, could really impact your lungs a lot. And so I really am glad that we went there in this program, because I think it's really healthy that people learn actual skills they can use.
A
So
question.
this
So
is
I have a question real quick before you ask. Is there like a tie-in between the physical like oxygen that you're taking in and spiritual that you feel? Is there something that
Ooh, I think so. I think with conscious breath work, conscious awareness, we are going to bring in the spiritual as what the Ayurvedics would call prana, what the Chinese would call chi, what the Japanese would call ki. I think that is happening there.
interesting? Go ahead, April. I'm sorry.
so I was saying, so this breath work will help people to stay calm and centered, right? So
Mhm.
in dealing with some of these energy lows and stressful moments.
Yes, especially with all the news that we are hearing these days. It's coming from all sides, all channels and such. And I think that a lot of people, like, they hear it. And kind of a quick tangent to this that I think is really important is, the brain responds to stress in the same way, no matter the stressor. So what I mean is, if I were to get someone, kind of, hitting me, attacking me and such, my brain's going to know, like, that's stressful. I better fight it off, right?
Okay.
Well, the brain can get stressed by, just what we see on social media and such, what we read online
Mhm.
and such. And the brain will still have the same Papez circuitry at work when it comes to a stress response. The
Yeah.
scientists have discovered the Papez circuitry of the brain kind of runs around that diencephalon loop that I had described earlier. And so, long story short, it's interesting that people can start getting PTSD responses. They may not, be diagnosed with PTSD or recognize it's happening, but there can be mechanisms that the constant feed, the constant reading of the social media every day. That's why I'm trying to post things on my Facebook that are very, like, positive and such, because certainly we read a lot of other things, a lot of other YouTube
Right.
channels are sharing a lot of what's going on in the world, and oh my gosh, right, in the last 2 weeks especially. But again, when you start to get, like, bombarded with all of it, we got to find that balance. And I think that once we do things like protect our energies like this, it really goes a long way in helping us navigate through all these energies that could be leading to many people to PTSD unbeknownstly.
Okay. So I had three things I wanted to bring up to you, and that makes total sense. Because really, your body doesn't know if the trauma is happening to you or that you're just experiencing it secondhand because you're still having that intense response to it. So it's really important to understand that what you're reading and watching is part of your diet.
Yes, great,
So
great takeaway.
you should guard that like you do the food you eat.
Indeed.
So
Yep. What
there you can hide people's. You don't have to unfriend people on Facebook, but you can unfollow them
Yeah.
and still be friends with them, but not get their feeds if they're starting to do a lot of, Kamala, Trump, whatever it is that you can unfollow them if it, all that stuff if you don't want to deal with it.
I have taken advantage of the snooze for 30-day feature. Yes, because sometimes it's just too
Yeah,
much to handle sometimes,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
and,
It's
and I love the way you use the word diet, because certainly it's not about food only. It's about
no
anything you choose to
mental
consume.
health diet.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is.
Yeah.
And I think that when it comes to, the pineal gland and third eye area, I mentioned the Kundalini because certainly there's a rise in Kundalini here. As it comes to, breath work practices to help bring energy upwards, we can start to remember that many people, if they're having, like, adverse responses to any meditation, like, I don't like this doesn't feel good for me, doesn't resonate with me, I'm getting a headache by what he just put me through, that means that we have to look lower. Look at the lower chakras first. We need to work with that energy first before we go higher.
All
April, you
right.
want to read this real quick, and maybe we could
Yeah.
help Marvelous Wolf get
Yeah.
past.
Wolf says I do have a case of PTSD. I just have to go to the VA to get it checked. I actually realized that one day when I was in the bathroom at the college and the motion sensor lights cut off while I was using the bathroom. I start freaking out like crazy. This is from Marvelous Wolf.
Okay.
So,
I would love to give a recommendation to that viewer. There's some stones that I would have nearby in my home. I'm a big believer in just having stones nearby, just anywhere in your house. I've got a big citrine stone because that helps me, get energy in the morning and at night. But I think some stones that would be helpful for the third eye. I think my top 4 would be unakite. I think if I were to like type it in, I think I can probably type it in. You guys can see it, right?
Yeah, actually,
yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah,
you can see that, right? Oh, yeah, very good, very good. I learned something new here. I like that. So I can go lapis lazuli. I can go rose quartz, and then clear quartz.
so I'm gonna copy and paste.
Okay, you're getting that. Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
There you go. And howlite. I kind of put a top 5 stones I'd have for this area here: unakite, lapis lazuli, rose quartz, clear quartz, and howlite. I think those would be 5 really great stones just to kind of have nearby if I know that my mind energy is less than eased, or I have dis-ease. Being careful with wording, of course, not saying disease, but dis-ease. I could be in a state of dis-ease.
Right.
And if I'm in a state of dis-ease, I'd like to have maybe some tools with me available. I think any sort of clearing oil, essential oil like a frankincense would be wonderful for anyone experiencing challenges within the cranium, within the heads. That's my big go-to. Frankincense is a big one to help clear the brain fog and bring about clarity.
Okay. I'm writing. Wolf was asking about stones. I said I just typed on, but so a lot of people believe that you can get a lot of natural healing via nature.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that is going out into the woods, getting into water, literally tree hugging. I know Conor McGregor has been talking about that a lot, something about the energy exchange. And some people believe in stones and crystals. I know a lot of this sounds like very woo-woo and crazy, but there have been scientific studies that have helped a lot of people. So you just got to find what works for you,
and you're exactly right.
Yeah, it varies from person to person.
You're exactly right, April. I love what you're saying, April, because if you go back to the point that we made at the very beginning of the show, that, if this was 1850, we don't have all these computers, electronics all around us. Our brains were more sensitive to our environment. So, again, if someone kind of says, well, I tried to hug a tree and it didn't work for me, well, maybe because our brain is just not there yet. And we need to train our brain like you would train a muscle, trying to turn off more electronics on a daily basis, getting that phone away from you for a little while can help you train the brain, like not get used to that energy, get used to the other energies around you. And that involves people too, like getting in front of people, hugging people, being with people.
Yes, that's a big thing. Yeah, War Demon sent me a big old chunk of shungite.
Oh, yes.
So I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was used for. Apparently it's used to stop some of this EMF electronic energy that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So I have that in front of my computer. I wasn't aware, but I also know that I don't know enough to discount it. So I put it in front of my computer.
Indeed. And you do the work, April. I know you do the work to make yourself more aware of just general, how you feel and how you can start to grow as a human being, as a spiritual being as well. So you're doing the work already. And once people do the work, like things like orgone pyramids that I know I've got like probably 18 of mine around my house. I just realized that we had to get the 5G in my building here, unfortunately. So I can't change that. So I just got to try to protect myself as best I can in my workspace. So those orgone pyramids work really well too. And every time I can just kind of get some sage and sweetgrass and Palo Santo and wave that through our building, we do a lot of clearing here.
So I know that all sounds very like crazy conspiracy theorists, 5G and all this stuff, but I guess more and more is coming out where a lot of these things are not long-term tested and they are having effects on people. And one of the things, there's a couple of things I wanted to bring up that you might know about. I guess I'm not sure if it was Rockefeller or somebody along those lines. It was one of the Rockefeller Vanderbilt group, but somebody along the lines back in the day changed the tune of music, so that the music pitch is off. And it used to be that music, was healing. It was at a certain hertz, and a lot of the sounds are created to heal us, like bees. If you're standing under a bunch of bees, their pitch at what they buzz is created to heal and calm. There's been an active thing to remove bells, like church bells and all kinds of bells, because apparently the ringing of bells are at such a pitch that it actually helps heal us. And we know that there are weapons, like dangerous, deadly weapons of sound that can decimate all kinds of stuff. So sound healing and weapons of sound exist. So, this is something that you can look into this a bit more. So there are certain hertz that if you look into, they can help you feel better. They can help you perform better. And I guess the music was tweaked by the powers that be to not be as calming or healing anymore at a certain point, to throw us off and make us more brain controlled.
That may be why, like, when you listen to music from, let's say the 90s and down, it's a difference. There's a difference. And then when you listen to much, but hold on, and as the further back you go, that's what I was going to say, the further back you go, it seems like the music is more of a spiritual thing than it is just listening to something catchy. Now you listen to anything now, everything is mass produced, it's electronic, it's cookie cutter, there's no soul.
There's a formula to sell, right? There's a formula to sell. That's capitalism at its best, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even clothing, clothing used to be, clothing was made, you have two collections back in the day. You had the spring and the fall. They made clothes to fit every size, and they were made of higher quality fabrics that were more natural, and they were made to last. Whereas now they just do this crap fashion, where threads are hanging off. They've gotten rid of pockets. They do one size fits all. It's just a bunch of shit that falls apart. Back in the day, we had fewer items of clothing, but it lasted a lot longer. Whereas now people have a lot more clothes and they just fall apart. So
this is just recent too, because I had check this out. I had a sweater from the Gap from the 90s. And I got it in I think 92, and I had it all the way into the late 2000s. That's how well it lasted. Now you buy a t-shirt, even a t-shirt by let's say Hanes, a company like that, and literally you can use it for maybe a year, and then you have to buy another one. You have to buy another. It's not poor quality.
I have all my old clothes. I just keep sewing them, fixing them, repairing them. My Eva laughs at me. She's like, "Where'd you get that dress?" I'm like, "I don't know. I got it 20, 25 years ago." She's like, I'm not getting rid of my stuff.
Energy follows intention, and again, many years ago, people actually maybe had to make their clothing much more suitable, or just more high quality. So we put more of our intention into it, right?
Yes.
I want to put something in the chat here as well about a frequency, because we mentioned something about frequencies and sound before, and there's something called the solfeggio frequency ranges. Have you heard of solfeggio? I'll put that word as well. Solfeggio frequency basically is there are different frequencies that have been associated with healing the body at different levels of the body. So 852 hertz is going to be associated with the pineal gland. So if we do any sort of meditative practice, breathwork practice, have that kind of sound in the background, that's really resonating with this part of our brain.
Okay.
And we've had some scientific study about that, how solfeggio certainly has more some ancient links to it too. Like ancient cultures definitely recognize the power of sound. Maybe that's how they created some levitation-like items to be able to move some of these huge megalithic stones using the power of physics in that way. That sound vibration can work. Yep.
Okay.
I think that's, I think it speaks also to another kind of practical thing we should bring up here. Practically yoga. Did anyone here love yoga? I bet we do. Hope we do. Yes. There's 3 poses I want to put down that can really be good for this particular type, this particular chakra area. I'm actually 4. I'm going to put 4 here. Rabbit's pose, child's pose, eagle pose, and tree
Trauma,
pose.
Trauma Train Rich says, I like Yoda.
Yoda
He should have said Yoda, I like.
That's right. Exactly. So yeah, in a rabbit pose, child's pose, those are more like seated, kind of you're in a ball kind of shape. Eagle pose and tree pose are more standing poses. And I think those poses are going to be really excellent poses to help like really give focus to the third eye. There's a beautiful eagle you're creating there. Yes.
Okay.
I think when we really do those poses well, because we know yoga is not just stretching, it's well beyond stretching. It really is about like ability to hone your intuition and really become union with your body, become one with your body. And so if we start to do yoga poses like this, I think it's really, really going to be practice something like this at home, even just 1 minute. Like it doesn't have to be an hour yoga class. You go drive across the town to do. We're all busy people. So even just 1 pose a day, but just with proper intention can do a whole lot of good.
Well, there's a story I wanted to throw into that too. And I agree with you. I try and do like anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes a day if I'm trying to keep up with it. It's just right before bed, just some stretches. So, or you're walking the dog's taking a shit. You stand there and you do your balance, you do your tree pose,
Excellent.
you got a minute, you got 45 seconds. Why not do it? Do your stretch.
And I think
so.
I think greatly too. Remember that this chakra is all about the idea of inner vision and integration, like integrating the masculine and feminine energies. So I think that when we start getting like deeper into like what the pineal gland really helps us do and the third eye, I think it really helps people find a good balance with masculine energy and feminine energy, or yin or yang. Yin energy being that feminine, the idea of more of the body at rest, at ease, and then the yang masculine, go out there, get what you need, right? Yeah. So I think once we like really like focus, and I think a lot of people, I mean, the way of the world is, the bills are going up so high. We have so much inflammation in our heads because we are just so like inundated and so busy. We got to work more than ever before. So I think that when we get to that mode of life, it's easy just to go yang, 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 go, go, go. I got to work because rent only goes up. And we don't give ourselves yin time. So when we get home, we then do more, go on the phone, go do something more.
Clean, do the dishes, get the laundry done.
And it would behoove us to just say, you know what, those dishes can be there tomorrow. I think that's okay. At least, yeah, there you go. At least 20 minutes.
I need to rest. Yeah, yep.
Yes, we need to give ourselves permission to rest more. And if that means we talk to the boss and say, boss, I'm doing what I can. I can't do unpaid overtime. Like this is kind of the way it's going to be. Yeah. We might have to really get better at holding professional boundaries like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And War Demon, I agree with you as well. So there's a story, and I've told this story on the show before, but I love this story, and I think it applies to what we're talking about. Back in, I think, 2004, 2005, there was a flood, and there was very little warning that it was coming from, I think, national, I think it was NOAA, so, or national, whatever. I'm looking at the book. I'm not looking at the book right now. And I've read this and read the whole thing and read all the science with it on a previous show not that long ago, and I'm not looking at it right now, so I'm going to just go from memory, but you can confirm this. And like I said, with everything we talk about here, we throw it out there. You don't have to believe us verbatim. Please do your own digging and your own research. But this did happen. So there was a flood. There was very little warning with it. This hit a lot of Asia. And in an instant, over 200,000 people were underwater and killed. Just like that. This massive tsunami wiped out everyone indiscriminately. Didn't matter if you're rich, poor, didn't matter where you're from, you were gone. And there was no warning. And it took all the land. And there was 2 living groups that survived this. First was the animals. There was a mass exodus of the dolphins going out into the deepest water, the whales. There was elephants that were breaking their chains to stampede out. There was all the animals, and still the people didn't notice. The birds, everything. And then there were the indigenous. And the indigenous believed the prophecy that their ancestors told them. They said, when the water withdraws out to this thing, one day it's going to take out everybody. So they believed the prophecy that they'd heard and the myth. So here's something that people should know. The definition, the word myth, the definition of mythos, was changed by governments, by powers that be. So myth originally meant a speech or a truth. So, and again, you can look this up. It meant a speech, a truth, a tale that happened, an accurate account being or a foretelling. So, just like that, governments changed myth to mean a fairy tale or a bunch of bullshit. And by doing so, they managed to wipe out so much history and spread so much disinformation like that. So these things that are
Kamala
regarded,
Harris. Go ahead.
these things that are regarded as myths actually have a lot of truth and based information to them. So this group of indigenous people who actually did not watch, TV or listen to the news, or they didn't have their pineal glands cluttered up with bullshit and screens and fluoride and crappity packaged foods and all this toxicity. They felt this was coming. They took what their ancestors said seriously. They paid attention to nature, and they took the fuck off. And in the meantime, they saved over 210 people on the way, stopping to warn them. And they were the ones who were saved. Only them. Everybody else was taken out. So this is what I mean by the difference between life and death, and why it's so important to have the ability to override this manipulative and deceptive media and the governments who are just trying to brainwash us and tell us, right, we can see things, we see things, right? But they're telling us we're not seeing things.
Is that why they call them TV programs to programs?
Yes. It's programming.
That's right.
So these are things that we need to be aware of. So, and Bigwig says, this, I don't know if this is biblical, and the fourth angel blew his trumpet and the sea rose up and killed 200,000 people died.
Book of Revelations.
Revelations, okay. So, and a lot of people believe in many different religions across the way, whether it's Ragnarok or Revelations, that there is something coming. So it is more important now than ever to pay the fuck attention and know what's real and what's not, and be able to discern what's real and what's not, and be able to know when you're being lied to and what to pay attention to.
And ultimately,
you can't do that if you have no intuition and no pineal gland working. You can't do it.
You're exactly right. Awareness is the healer. In the end of the day, we say that in my industry a lot. Awareness is the healer, and that goes to intuition, and always trust that intuition. And what you said made me think of a couple things, April. One was the word mythology. Certainly ancient people 4,000, 10,000 years ago, they saw something for sure. They recorded on paper, and now we kind of almost like seem like we teach it in an amusing way. Well, here's what those Greeks thought of.
Yeah, we take the piss.
Greeks and such. It seems almost like it's taught in an amusing, belittling way, but hey, they saw something. They saw giants in the air. Something was going on Mount Olympus, right? So I think you're exactly right with the word mythos. But the second thing I was thinking of was, again, I think we're kind of like going back to a lot of big ideas on how we live, how we like choose to put our mental energy every day does matter. And am I using it on electronics? Am I using it on just the general kind of MO of life, living mundanely? One of my favorite words is mundane, just the ordinary. So are we living in just the ordinary Groundhog Day, the movie every day? I wonder how many people live like that, the same old every day. Or are we beginning to live consciously? And consciously, I wanted to make sure I said this before the show was over, that the word Christ consciousness comes to mind. That the pineal gland is not just about only like me, myself, my energies, but when I really like dive deep into meditative practices and live in union with spirit and soul, I can literally feel a Christ consciousness in me. And many religions may have had like, changes in how they describe it. And maybe they've changed some good books, hint, hint, wink, wink, how they can describe it. But I know the book of Luke says that, behold, the temple of God is within you. It's already there. It's just, again, the mundane of life keeps us away from here. So we do conscious living, conscious exercise, like we said before, diet. Consciously eating. Am I eating consciously? Can I really taste my food? Can I take a moment to smell the air? Do I live consciously or do I not? The more I do, the more I'm going to live and feel what's happening in my body. And then I can now more easily connect mind and body together and not live mundanely, right?
100%. And this is, again, for those who, believe in or feel that there is a positive and a negative force, or the force of good and evil, temptation and the right thing. This is where that comes in. You can exist and fall for anything, or you can live a full life very consciously. And T.N. Kupner says, don't underestimate the power of a break from electronics or social media.
So true there. Everyone needs it at some point.
Yeah.
And going back to Christ consciousness, Christ consciousness is this idea that we can learn to surrender in a space of love. That when we start to feel love of universe, love of soul and to spirit, like really connect my soul to the ever-present energies of the universe, I can really start to feel that. And people who do feel it, they feel an overwhelming sense of love in their life. Love in the sense of I can just really not just for myself, but I feel good in my body, but also feel just healthy and balanced and at ease in nature and other people and just how I interact with the world. And that's what Christ consciousness ultimately becomes, a devotion, a practice, or I practice breath work. I practice living consciously. I practice feeling the earth. So Ray, if you want to take those pants off and just roll around the grass, do it.
Oh, they've been
Get grounded.
I'm sticking all over to my leather seat.
There you go. Right on.
He's sticky icky over there. And for those who don't understand what Christ consciousness is, or who kind of have a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to Christianity, it doesn't necessarily mean what you might assume it does. It means the growing human recognition and blending of the human evolutionary or ego, the human evolutionary nature with the divine mind and the divine personality that is the source, or the higher consciousness. It is an elevated way of thinking and living that transcends beyond the fear of the materialistic world. Or if you're a Kabbalist, the 1% versus the 99%, which is probably where they got that phrase. But if you study Kabbalah, there's the 99% and the 1%, and one is living in the material world, and one is living in the conscious world. So,
and when you live consciously, you really have all your senses heightened. All 5 senses are heightened. Even your proprioceptive awareness of your body is heightened. And then in moments of solitude, in moments of clarity, we do receive revelations. I think that's why the last book of the Bible is called Revelations, because we do start to recognize that in our body, we can literally connect mind to body. The upper chakras to lower chakras, however way we want to describe it. We know the gut-brain connection is real, and science has proven that 100 times over by now. So ultimately, every religion, every faith, culture has their way of their verbiage to describe it. But Christ consciousness is a great devotional practice, and I think they use the word Christ because he was an example of how to do this perfectly well. So following his lead in life is said to follow a lead of guided by love. And as I live in the space of love, I really start here. Start in my body, and from there, because the power, the kingdom of Christ is already in me, so to say, according to the book of Luke. Again, it's all kind of describing this idea of if I connect mind to body, however way we do it, right? Whether we do it the yoga way, another culture's way, doesn't matter. We find what works for us. And when we find that mind-body connection, we are then able to live in a space of love, and all the other noise around us created by the media and by politicians and by just dishonest people won't affect us.
There you go, right there. Not being affected by this energy is a great way. It's like putting a little shield up. It's like, ha, you can't see me.
That's right. You literally can't. There you go.
You can't see me. Right, exactly.
Indeed, right there.
So
yes,
exactly.
I just absolutely love where this discussion went, April. I love that we went to the idea of the introspection within us, and the more that we practice the pineal gland, we practice working with our breath and working with visualization, we all can learn how to be more self-aware. So ultimately, this is what it's about: self-awareness. And may I read a mantra that I have read to some of my students before about this?
Sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So oftentimes in classes, I'll teach Reiki here, I'll teach chakras and such, and I'll share this mantra about the third eye. My third eye seeks what my physical eyes cannot. My body senses what my skin cannot. My mind perceives the metaphysical. I am beyond my body.
I love that.
Beautiful.
So often we feel the need. This drives me nuts. Oh, thank you, T.N. Couponer. Have a good one. Appreciate you stopping in. So, so often, this is something I noticed recently, right? Somebody will talk about something on YouTube, and just have a theory, whether it's, I don't know, aliens or whatever. And immediately Wikipedia will put up a disclaimer saying blah, 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 blah. Okay. And what is so offensive, literally offensive about this, is that we can't even have a discussion about things we don't know anymore, because they want to go ahead and say, you don't know anything about this. This has been unproven, and this is not scientific fact, and blah, 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 blah. So it's very frustrating, because sometimes we don't know things because we can't prove them with science. But I think we need to get comfortable with understanding that some things can't be proven, and we don't know everything. But sometimes we have knowings, and we don't know how we get there, and we don't know where they're coming from, and we're not able to prove these things, but we have knowings. And if you say that, Wikipedia will put a little addendum underneath saying, this has not been proven. Well, then prove deja vu, motherfuckers.
Right.
We all have it.
Right there.
We all have deja vu. Tell me we don't have it and that it doesn't exist, because you know everything, Wikipedia. You know everything, science.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Tell
Wikipedia.
me all about deja vu that none of us have ever experienced.
I feel offended by those little, like, you have to, the assumption is I don't know anything, so you have to educate me, YouTube. No, you don't.
Right.
Let me figure this out on my own.
Right. They're trying to shut down discussion of things that we are collectively collaborating on to have these conversations.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Can I share one more piece as far as with the pathology piece? Because the pineal gland, we've been talking a lot about, how it works function wise. And there's kind of one more function I do want to bring up here. The idea of how, light, certainly is affecting our body. And if I'm staying up late and such, we've been able to now see there's an international for research on cancer. And they have been able to kind of highlight that when we have a lot more sleep disturbances and our pineal gland isn't able to activate as it normally should on a regular circadian rhythm, cancer rates have been witnessed to be higher. So the ability to maintain a good sleep schedule, a good routine, does matter for our health and wellness, to get our body processes, our systems working optimally in a manner that can really bring ease and homeostasis. So I think that's something to be said. Again, the International Agency for Research on Cancer has verified this.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. Well, the scientists also will tell you that you're not supposed to get any sun, that the sun will give you
What?
cancer. But if you dig deep enough, you'll find out that you're not supposed to get burned,
Mm-hmm.
but we need a bit of sun every single day. And
Yeah,
that
vitamin D.
getting some sun every day actually keeps you from getting cancer.
Yes.
And that 95% of all cancers, and this can be found on the NIH site and beyond, 95% of every single cancer out there is prevented by lifestyle choices.
Mm-hmm.
So only 5% are not preventable. So take that as you may. Get your
Hold on.
sunshine.
There are doctors out there that say you shouldn't get any sun.
Yeah.
There have been some that claim that. Yes.
Yeah. You have to use sunscreen all the time. Don't use sunscreen. There's so many chemicals in sunscreen.
Right. So that creates its own issues. Yeah.
I
love what you're
don't
saying.
get burned.
Because lifestyle choices do matter. In fact, there's a rule of 5 that we teach in oncology massage, that if you have 5 lifestyle factors that negatively impact your body's not able to withstand that much bombardment of negative forces on your cells. And you have these little things in your cells called lysosomes. Have you heard of lysosomes?
Mm-mm.
They look like little Pac-Mans that just kind of eat away at the free radicals. So again, if we have a little bit of exposure, then okay, we have enough lysosomes to eat away at the little amount of free radicals. That's enough. And again, 1899, we probably weren't exposed to this much around us, so we didn't have as much, chemical bombardment and such, not as much free radical damage. But certainly now today, again, so that's the rule of 5 is what we teach. So I would always encourage clients and students and such, look at your lifestyle and write down all the negative lifestyle factors you would want to change. How would you want to be healthier? Start writing that list. And once you get to that 5th item, now it's time to look at that list and say, what can I change today? Of all the things I can change, what can I change today? And it would behoove me to do so soon, because otherwise our cells just get bombarded. And you're exactly right. Again, vast majority of cancers are in that way, where lifestyle modifications can do a lot, because free radical damage is going to be at the heart of what happens inside the nucleus of a cancer cell.
Yeah, that's something we don't hear a whole lot about, but we used to, like in the 90s.
Oh, that's right. Indeed.
Yeah. So it was all about free radicals and antioxidants.
And the oat milk was supposed to cure all that.
Pretty much. And Winona says, or even the Mandela effect. The idea that some people swear they remember certain details on their timeline, others cannot. Yeah, like Berenstain Bears actually found a copy. It was Berenstain Bears.
Yes, that's right.
We can go down.
They were saying it was Berenstain Bears. Yes.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
We can go down a whole freaking. I remember it. Berenstain Bears.
It was Berenstain Bears, and they tried to erase that and say it was Berenstain Bears. Yes.
Trying to always make us doubt, because I know that if society doubts itself, that's how we can be better controlled.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, am I crazy? Am I remembering things wrong? So we won't keep you talking on this topic, but I know we were going to talk about some of the things happening today and the last couple of weeks that have been insane. That kind of feed into why we wanted to have you on, to learn how to protect ourselves from some of this stuff.
Indeed. So it's been a pleasure to be on your show today. So I really hope that people will remember that breath work of the colorful breath work. I hope that they'll look at the chat and see the stones and the yoga poses and such. I think it's really, really healthy to remember. Ultimately, the bottom line is, how do I develop self-awareness and break away from the mundane? Because we were not put on earth just to pay rent, work 40 hours a week and pay rent. That's not the goal and purpose of life. So how do we break away? It's going to take some conscious awareness. And that's how we start developing that Christ consciousness that we mentioned before. Love the definition that you read earlier, April. It's so important that we do learn self-awareness. So even if it's just 5 minutes a day, you don't have to be yogini master to do this. You don't have to have a PhD in anything to do this. We all have the kingdom within us. We all have the ability to look within and develop the knowing within us. It just may take a little time. Like you train a muscle, you go work out, you're in the gym, you train, you get a little better with that. And everyone can do it. That's why I want to really make sure I say that so people hear that. Everyone can. We just start small, take little baby steps, and everyone can get there.
Yeah. I actually took a chair yoga class for years. It was geared towards people who were injured, unable to stand for periods of time, in wheelchairs or crippled. And I fucking loved it. It was so great. And it was actually really, really great. And I I just liked it. It was so chill and there was lots of stretches. And I was like the young person in the class, but I'm also kind of beat up from wrestling too. So it helped me, but you are right. Everybody can do this. It doesn't, even if you are experiencing all kinds of medical issues, it can only help you.
Indeed. So I on my Facebook page, I will definitely put out my Facebook page some more meditations around this. So if anyone wants to just kind of cruise on my page, feel free to. My Facebook is just my name you see on the screen right there. So feel free to give me a follow and you'll see some cool stuff already on the page. And yeah.
Well, where can people find you? And I know that it would be great if we could keep you to talk about some of the stuff going on, because I know you are super purple pilled to the hilt, and I would love to hear your opinions about some of the stuff going on. But I also know you have to get back to your family. So where can people find you?
Yeah, I just put my website on the board on the screen here. My name is just my name on Facebook here. And if you want to look up me on Instagram, it's at JimmyMT77.
I had it pulled up here, and I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah. So yeah, if you just want to look up Jimmy, just my name there on Facebook.
We go.
Okay.
I'm not cool enough to be on Tickety Talk, but I do have an Instagram as well. But yeah, there's my Facebook right there for you. The massage is listed right there as the cover there. And if you want to click on that little picture next to my name, one of my favorite quotes of all time is there. Yeah.
Practice love until you remember that you are love.
Indeed. One of my favorite quotes of all time, because we are spiritual beings on a very human journey. We are of light and love. We are stardust. We are of the divine. So I want people to hear that and see that and really feel that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Jimmy, I can't thank you enough for being here. And what is your Instagram again?
JimmyMT77.
Okay. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Jimmy.
We really appreciate it. We love having you here.
My pleasure to always be here. I can't wait to come back again as soon as I can.
All right. Mwah.
Blessings to you both. Thank you so much.
Oh, brother.
All right. Bye.
I feel more relaxed now.
I know, right?
Let me bump. All right, Jimmy bumped himself out.
So hi to everybody joining us late. We appreciate you coming in. Isban and Jka 951.
We got about 15 minutes to rock this rock out what the hell's going on real quick. I don't want to really spend too much
trauma train. What the fuck is going on?
Shit, man. You got
oh
this.
My god.
Go ahead. We can get into who's listen.
Where do you even start?
This is what fucking blows my mind. And I'm gonna say this one thing because I've been holding this back and I hadn't said this publicly, but I've been feeling this.
Right. I'm gonna flex my boobs while you say it because I've been waiting to do it.
I mean, you get Trump shot at, you get all this shit with Joe Biden. Nobody's heard from the guy for over a fucking week.
That's because he's been uninstalled. Longer. He was installed and now he's uninstalled.
And now check this out. This is the thing that blows my mind. And listen, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, who not to vote for. But in the primaries in 2020, you had all the shot in the world to make Kamala Harris your fucking choice, right? You know how many people actually supported her? Fucking zero. Nobody gave a shit about Kamala Harris. She is the dumbest rock. If a rock had a fucking IQ, and just because she's not Donald Trump, the Democrats want you to vote for her. That's what it is. I just don't fucking understand how people are getting behind somebody that they never wanted to get behind before. She never showed her face. She hasn't showed her face at all for the last 4 years. And guess what? The one thing she was in charge of, the fucking border, is a goddamn disaster. I've been holding that in for 2 weeks.
I just don't understand the massive switch of loyalty. Like, I don't,
What the fuck?
I found myself feeling really bad for Joe Biden. Okay. And he's not my favorite person.
Elder abuse. It's
I
fucking elder abuse.
I voted. Okay. Full disclosure. I voted for Biden. Okay.
So did I.
Okay. So, and then I became very disenchanted with the way he was running the country really, really fast. The medical
Quick.
mandates were, the medical mandates, like, just pissed me the fuck off. It was like,
wasn't
okay,
even a year for me.
My body, my choice extends to everything. Everything. You don't do that to people. You do not do that. You present them with a choice, and if they want to make the choice, that's fine. You don't blame an entire group and dehumanize them. And you all know that. I'm not going to go over that again. But I'm so, like, I almost found myself feeling sorry for him, because I was just like, what are they doing to him? They just pull him out and throw her in there. And granted,
It's not him.
I predicted this. Okay. You saw my prediction if you're on social media. Back in April 2020, before she was even VP, I said, okay, this is what's going to happen. And it's not because I wanted it to happen. It's because I get these visions. And it said, okay, he's going to pick her for VP. And eventually she's going to end up being president to some degree. And that
was the plan.
And that's how what I saw. And it's not that she was going to be elected president. It was that they were going to get rid of him, and she was going to be president by default. And I should have explained that. And I just seeing this come to fruition, I'm like, oh my God, my brain.
April, this is what I understand. We live in what's supposed to be a democracy, right? Now the
That's
Democrats.
What I'm saying. They keep saying Trump's the one that's going to destroy democracy.
But we picked.
But what's going on right
the
now?
Republicans picked Donald Trump. They wanted him. They voted for him to run for president.
Okay, so let me give you 2 examples. This is how
listen,
RFK. They kept RFK out of the ballots and off of the debate. That right there, that is not democracy.
No.
They fucked RFK. Okay. And yeah, somebody said worms in his brain. Give me a break. He doesn't have worms in his brain. This is just a bunch of propaganda. So then they're spreading things about him. And now they're installing, again, they're uninstalling and installing somebody that nobody ever chose or voted for.
No.
So how is
they're telling you to vote for her? You have to.
How is this okay? Yeah, how is this okay? Why? And if you're Democrat, why are you tolerating this? Why are you just going along with it, going, okay, April, I guess I'm the part of the party, so I guess she's great now.
April, but this is what I'm saying. You didn't want her before. She was dumb before. She was the worst before. You know how many? All right. You know what? They're playing the whole fucking race card with the black card and shit like that. Let me tell you something.
They want to marry the race card. They're going to take the race card to Vegas, marry it, and try and get it pregnant.
Do you want to know how many black men she kept in jail with fucking weed, for getting arrested for weed, and kept them in jail and just kept them longer than they had to be just to fucking make them work for free? You guys, do you have any understanding of how bad a job she did as a prosecutor? How many black men and women she put in jail for bullshit?
How is she prosecutor when she cannot speak publicly?
Hold on, right here. Even fucking BLM. Fucking BLM is like, nope.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. So this is what it is. Just because she's not Donald Trump.
Okay, so that's the thing. People are going to get behind her.
Jesus.
Because she's not Trump. How is that okay? How is that democracy?
It's not democracy.
So how dumb are people? Like, that they can't even stand up.
Listen, and then you get.
By the way, RFK is still running. RFK Jr. is still running. He does not have worms in his brain, and he is almost the same age as Biden, and he is jacked. Okay, so you got to look at some of the health.
He's the same age as Biden.
Almost, yeah. He looks. He is like this. This motherfucker runs the steps.
He does the chin ups.
Jacked. Right. So he's a conspiracy theorist, allegedly. That's what I'm saying. But he actually is in amazing health. And the people who run our health in every country are fat fucks. but they're the ones telling us, the food pyramid and to take more, prescription medications.
Listen,
So, but here's a conspiracy theorist that is telling us, no, you probably shouldn't take this. You should take this and do this instead. And he's got all his abs and looks amazing. So I'm sorry, I'm going to follow the guy whose resume is on his body.
listen. I was called a conspiracy theorist when I said that Biden was gonna eventually either die in office or get sick and get knocked out, and that Kamala Harris is gonna be the first black female president, even though in 2016 she wasn't even black, she was Asian. But neither here nor there.
She's whatever she needs to be for that minute.
Whatever she needs to be. Here's the thing, man. Like I said, if you want to vote for whoever you want to vote for, fine. But you need to understand, they're telling you. These people are telling you that if you do not support her, you're a fucking feminist, you're anti-feminist or whatever, you're against women, you hate fucking people of color. Like, what is going on?
Because that's what they do. They try and shame you. Look, if you don't, if you question the election, you're an election denier. If you don't take the vaccine, you're an anti-vaxxer.
Oh no, hold on. No,
even if you've had every vaccine in the fucking world, if you question this one, you're an anti-vaxxer. But yet everything is your fault.
But yet it's totally cool to say that they should have killed Donald Trump, or too bad he missed, or that it's a staged event. That firefighter who fucking shielded his kids and his wife that literally died on the stage. Yeah. Oh, it was a well planned. Oh, they're gonna kill one person. Shut the fuck. Talk about conspiracy theories.
Right. Red Sonny says Trump almost got assassinated. Yeah, he did. He got shot. He got shot in the face. Right. So let's talk about that for a second. Okay, we're definitely getting two different things. So obviously, people on the left think that it was set up by the Trump camp. And people on the right are just like, wow, he got shot in the face. So let's talk about that on the left side for a minute. Again, voted for Biden. So here's something to think about. Would you let a 20-year-old take a shot at your head with an AK, right?
I think it was an AR-15.
Oh, sorry, an AR. Would you let a random 20-year-old, allegedly, take a shot at your head?
We can go deep with this. I don't have too much time.
If you were a fucking billionaire with a hot ass wife, some great kids, okay, just to win a thankless election where you're going to be buried every day of your life for the next 4 years, and your family is going to be subjected to it too. Would you allow that? Would you let that person take that shot just to nick your ear and hope that it worked out, just to win?
No.
I mean, come on. How fucking retarded do you have to be to believe that would be okay? Like, I'm going to set that up to win this election. I'm like,
but listen, you look at what's been happening over the course of the time. Listen, they try to put him in jail for
or something instead. Do that.
Listen, they try to put the guy in jail. They can't beat him in a poll, so they try to put him in jail for a bunch of misdemeanors, which they were. Then so then that didn't work. All right, so let's try to fucking bury him in the public opinion in the public opinion poll. That didn't work because nobody gives a shit because he did a good job as president. Hold on, not done. And then they said, all right, so we can't do that, so let's fucking try to kill him. That's what happened.
Yeah,
and then that didn't work.
That's exactly right.
That didn't work. That didn't work. So then guess what Plan D was? Plan D was the original plan the entire time. Let's have him run against a woman of color.
Yeah.
And come on. And now, I don't know if you heard about this. I think you actually sent me this, that Donald Trump and his regime is actually suing.
Yeah.
What was it? What is this? What are they suing for?
We can read it. But yeah, you're right. Okay, so when the ballots are uneven and
I have it right here.
The debate doesn't work, the last thing is it's obvious there is motive. Okay, and by the way, the kid was not a Republican. There's no way that shooter.
Well, that's another thing.
Okay, people. And when you're in a closed primary state, you tend to that kid never voted Republican.
Listen,
ever. Doesn't matter what you registered. He never voted Republican. Republican is not going to kill a Republican. A. B, there's so much motive to kill Donald Trump because nothing else was working. There's lawfare. You
ever heard of throwing off the scent? It's
Yeah,
the
oh
number
yeah,
one. It's the
yeah.
number one thing you do when you're trying to
Like
get
the
in.
yeah, it's the murder writer writing about the
Of
murder he's
course.
going to commit, and then it's
Yes.
of course, I didn't commit that murder. I wrote about it. I, of course,
So check this out. It says here, Trump campaign has filed a complaint with
Mhm.
the FEC accusing Biden and Kamala Harris of violating campaign finance laws by rolling over funds. She's raised all this money
Yeah, they
in
rolled it
such a
over.
short time. Are you fucking kidding me? She's using fucking Joe Biden's money. You know what that is? I want you to listen to what I'm saying to you.
Mhm.
I want you to hear this real quick, and I'm going to shut the hell up for the rest of the show because we only got like 5 minutes left. I want you to remember this. They have been lying, saying that Biden is the sharpest. She said it.
Yeah.
He's so sharp.
They've been
He's so
lying to us the
healthy.
whole time.
Get the fuck out of here. They knew it. They knew he's been sick. They've been propping him up for, I think they've been propping him up for like the last 3 fucking years.
Yeah, easily.
And then
Look at how many times did he fall up the steps? He fell off his bike. We've watched him, end thing, turn page. I mean, come on. Everybody calls it, and then they tell us we're a bunch of, assholes for saying, there's something wrong with this guy. You're a conspiracy theorist for saying so. It's like, no, we're just noticing that, there's something wrong with our president. Who is running this country?
and we can get it.
Who's running the country? Who's
And
been running the country?
we can get in. We can get into, like I said, this is a whole show that we can do regarding this because we're running through this because there's only literally 4 minutes left. But the fact of the matter is this, listen, do not allow anyone. I don't care if it's a fucking right. I don't care if it's a Republican or Democrat. Do not let anyone make the choice for you. That's all I have to say with that. You make the best choice that you believe is going to be for your family and for yourself. That's it. If you really feel in your heart that Kamala Harris, whoever the hell they do, because let me just tell you this, it ain't gonna be Kamala Harris. It ain't gonna be Kamala Harris. Mark my fucking words. It will not be Kamala Harris because that is not who they want to represent them, because she is a fucking dumb ass rock. And I mean that from the
They're
bottom of
just
my heart.
using her because she's a minority female.
What's gonna happen is they're gonna wait until they fucking start debating.
Yeah.
When they have that first debate, you will see.
Well, you knew it was going to happen because JD Vance didn't debate her. So as soon as they said that the two vice presidents weren't going to be debating, I called it. I'm like, that's because she's not going to be vice president.
She can't.
So
she can't. JD Vance, look, say what you want to say about the guy. There's one thing I'll say. Number one, he's cool because he's a fucking sci-fi geek. But number two, he's a very smart man. He's been there and done that. I think it's a very interesting choice because I actually thought I was this close to believing that Vivek Ramaswamy was going to be the running mate for Donald Trump. But that man,
Tulsi Gabbard, another fucking would have been a great choice. Tulsi Gabbard would give them inspiration to shoot Trump again, though.
Yeah, probably.
You can't choose a running mate like Vivek or Tulsi because it gives you it gives them inspiration. You got to choose like a Pence guy.
And let me be very let me use a word from that idiot that speaks for him, that young lady that's always in the stage, whatever her name is. Let me be very clear. God forbid, the difference between myself and somebody who calls themselves a Democrat or a liberal, and again, I would never, and God knows my heart, I would never want anything to happen to President Biden, because guess what? I may not like him as president, but he's my fucking president. And he's a fucking human being. I don't want anything to happen to him. The fact that there are actually people out there that have the fucking audacity and the heartlessness to say, I'm like this fucking idiot Jack Black and his stupid fat friend that plays shitty music for the last 20 years. I don't know how the fuck they're over, saying that, oh, I wish they wouldn't have missed.
Well, they got their tour canceled on them. I don't think the far left is liking the fact that their own rules are coming back to haunt them with the cancellations and the censorship.
Just lie after lie, man.
After all those years of them demanding all this certain stuff, it's coming back to bite them in the ass now.
Let me start playing the music out because my wife's gonna kill me.
I'm sorry. I'm actually concerned about Biden. I hope that he's okay. And what I'm seeing happen to him, like I said, he's not my favorite person in the world, but My heart actually hurts for him.
You don't want nothing bad to happen to him.
What
He's a
they're
human being.
doing to him. They are doing. It seems really inhuman.
It's his wife.
Yeah,
She's
well,
evil.
all of it. They're just pulling him off. Like, is he fucking alive? Like, what's happening? Like, that letter didn't even have a presidential seal on it.
Listen,
what's going on?
Allegedly, the story is that maybe she's the one that's been fucking writing everything out for him and signing things and all this. I'm talking about his wife.
Oh, Eva says he's speaking on TV right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Listen, maybe next week, maybe as this plays out, we'll speak about it a little bit more, but probably not. I don't know. I don't want. This is driving me fucking crazy. I'm gonna go get me a couple of rocks and hit myself with them instead of getting chakra or whatever the hell it is that Jimmy was talking about.
Oh yeah. Here's a good one to leave with. JK 951 says, if they would do it to a president for gain, they would do it to you,
brother.
Do not forget that. If they will do it to somebody else, they will do it to you without even blinking an eye. Thank you for reminding us that. So that is why it's so important to make note of all of these behaviors and all of this treason that is going on.
And listen, War Demon's throwing up the Discord. What you can do is you can actually screenshot it, copy and paste that link there. Jump into the Discord. I got to jump in there soon. I've been so fucking busy over the last couple of weeks, but love always wins. Gam Wolfers. April, why don't you put over and pontificate what you're doing? And
I will pontificate. Yeah. Hey, thank you for being here, you guys. We really appreciate it. And thank you to Jimmy AG again for returning. We appreciate all the ideas on how to protect ourselves and keep our energy high, because keeping your energy at a good high, don't let them feed them that low energy. That's what they're trying for. So keep your energy high. Choose joy and enlightenment and love, because that's super important right now. And protect yourself and watch your diet of what you're consuming on social media and the news. Okay, so that matters as much as what you're feeding yourself as far as food. So pay attention to that. You can see me. You can find me on Patreon, April Hunter, aprilhunter.com, and Instagram, Real April Hunter. Please follow me. Thank you for being here. We are live on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific. Big Ray, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on all social media, Big Ray Hernandez, of course, on Wednesday mornings, 11 a.m. on Hami Media Group on YouTube or on Twitch. You can find me there. And also I stream the show, the wrestling show I do on my own Facebook. So if you guys are Facebook friends with me, you can find me there. Fix those things. Then
I untied it the wrong way. I was hurrying.
That's what she said. But yeah, guys, listen. Next week we'll have a deeper discussion, a more calm discussion regarding. Let's see how things play out, and we'll be back next week as April flexes her boobies.
I'll flex you on out of here. I'll flex you out of here.
And we'll get out of here, guys. We'll see you next week. Love you.
Love you guys.
Peace out, y'all.
For being here.
Flex, April, flex.
Flex.
Big ass titties.
Flex.
Hot knockers.
Later, guys.
Flex.
Go, you know the thing.